We all deal with it in different capacities. As I was growing up, I didn't have much self-esteem. No matter how well I did in something, from my very first memories, I can remember feeling a sense of nervousness and fear, and a sense that I wasn't good enough. So for this speech, I'd like to tell you my story and give some motivation and inspiration for the future. I grew up in a single-parent home. I lived with my mother. Although she was a single mother, I never felt lonely because my mom had a large family of 6 sisters and 7 brothers. As a child, I would sit in the kitchen with my mother and grandmother and family and would listen to their chats. My mom is the second youngest of 14, and most of them are very fair-skinned. I would hear stories of how one of my aunts didn't like sitting next to my mom because she believed my mother would rub her dark skin onto her. I remember I would listen to these stories and believe that somehow I wasn't good enough. It just so happens that out of all my mom's side of the family, I'm the darkest of everyone. Hearing those stories, not directed at me, but believing them, always wanting to look like the rest of my family. My family was good to me though, and out of all my grandmother's grandchildren, I was her favorite. And there was always kind words directed towards me, but by hearing and seeing what I felt the standard of beauty was, I didn't believe those kind words were true. While in elementary school, I lived in South Texas with my mom until around 3rd grade. She got remarried with my stepdad and we moved away. So I moved a lot as a child. My mom had ups and downs with her husband and we would move back and forth. I went to countless numbers of schools. I never really had the chance to make lifelong friends, and I never felt like I was caught up on my work. I always had to find a way to catch up when changing schools. Because of the constant moving and always feeling behind and catching up in work, the voices in my head started telling me I couldn't do as well as my peers. Eventually, I was in a single household parent again, and I knew my mom was having a hard time, especially when it came to paying for uniforms or school supplies. And when I was old enough, around 15, I got a job and joined the work program at school so I could pay my own way. I would buy all my school supplies and school clothes along with my brothers. And once I started working, I still kept my grades up in school, but I didn't feel like I could make it in a university because I needed to work full time. So once I graduated, I just continued to work and support myself and help my mom pay the bills in the house. What changed my life was when I met my husband and had my children. I had wanted to go to college for a while, but I was intimidated of the task. And with children and a home to keep afloat, we both needed to work. Eventually, we were blessed, and 8 years down the road, we were able to sacrifice a year of me going to school full time and not working. I entered the LVN program at Navarro. Once back in school, I was terrified. I honestly didn't know if I could make it. It was so intimidating with all the younger girls in my class, and they were so self-confident about how well they would do and what ranking they wanted to get in class, and I just wanted to pass. But no matter how doubtful I was, I tried my hardest. I didn't even want to let anyone know when my graduation date was, just in case I didn't make it.
Aww.
I did pass and graduated, and now taking this speech class as a part of furthering my education. I learned to live with the self-doubt and fear of failing, not letting it control my life. I now go swimming and baseball games, and I don't feel that I'm not as beautiful as everyone else. I'm comfortable in my skin, and I don't let the voices of self-doubt control my life. My goal is to become a RN and live my life caring for people. We all have obstacles and things that happen to chip at our confidence. But even if you're scared and feel doubtful, don't let it run your life. Do your best and work hard to achieve your goals. And I will end with one of my favorite quotes, which comes from Franklin Roosevelt. There's nothing to fear but fear in itself. So I urge everyone to continue with your dreams.